for Sturt. Took the right option then. Back line was under enormous pressure. Short pass. And this man is playing extremely well. Scott Field. 12th possession. His work rate certainly has lifted. McGowan over the top. The handball is quite good. That was out towards Kavanagh. The Blues trying to push the ball forward. O'Brien. A wobbly kick forward, not well directed. The mark not taken. Mind you, it wasn't easy to take cleanly. Socket off the ground. Not accurately by Bartlett, though. And we'll have it thrown in that left forward pocket at the southern end. And they're making hard work of it, Sturt, and it's due to the pressure that South are applying at the moment. Their ferocity at the ball and the player has been exceptional.
I think that's pretty accurate, Kim. The ferocity of tackles has unnerved the Double Blues a little, particularly across half forward. Nobody in ruck on that occasion. Page taken to ground, picks up an easy free. Out the back door they go. Making the run as Marty Dillon. He goes wide to Badhams, really coming into the game now. Matty Badhams to the outer wing. Underneath that one, Winton coming well down the field to try and pick up his kicks. Baker collides with a Double Blue opponent. The ball goes to ground. 38 for the Double Blues is young Darren Williams. Not much of him in terms of physical upper body. By G, he's a desperate player. Lean over the top, thumps the ball across the line. Boundary umpire will bring the ball back into play. 20.5 minutes gone, second term. This Foundation Cup round 4 game. South Adelaide 48, the Double Blues 33, and it's been all South this term.
Scott Field with the handball as Sturt go forward once more through Williams. Out in front there was Schmidt. He tried to socket that off the ground. This gives Nuski the front running position. Oh, he turns well, the big chap. Good manoeuvrability. The handball's awful, though. Painter did that cleverly to try and get the handball. There's a blue on behind play. We'll stay with the football as Bartlett gets the handball over the top. And McGlashan and Smith in the fight. There as the siren sounds. South Adelaide leading 7 goals, 6-48. Sturt 5-3-33, and the fight is on in earnest there. Umpires move in to separate players to end a rather tight and exciting first half of football here at Football Park.
when I throw to the when I throw to the actual score, that'll come up. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Nine's Wide World of Sports and our coverage of Friday night live football here from Footy Park. It's a beautiful night for footy, about 28 degrees. The two games tonight, the early game well and truly underway. South Adelaide playing Sturt, and the late game, it should be an absolute beauty. The Eagles taking on the Bulldogs. As I said, it's a beautiful night for footy. The score at the moment, just over 2 minutes into the third quarter. South Adelaide 7-7, leading Sturt 5-3. Let's now take it to your commentators. They are Graham Campbell, David Mackay and Kim Dillon.
Thanks very much, Ken. Well, South are playing extremely well here as Winton goes forward once more. It's a high kick. But the mark's been taken in defence there by Sutterby for Sturt. They actually trailed by 10 points at quarter time, and now they lead by 16 as Sutterby puts his kick in. Bennett, the spoiler from behind, eventually goes down to Renfrey. Winton out towards Nigel Smart, who goes across the ground looking for Mitten. Mitten picks it up on the first opportunity. Oh, clever work there to dispose the ball back towards Winton. The kick wasn't accurate, though. Now the snapshot from Bickley is pretty wide, and that's out of bounds on the full.
Yes, it must be said, Kim, that South Adelaide's first quarter was a brilliant one into the breeze. 3 goals, 3 against probably a 4-goal breeze was match-winning stuff.
Well, Graham, I'd hasten to add, I went down to the Oval at half-time, and in actual fact, the breeze is a very strong breeze, but it appears to be blowing straight towards the grandstand, and I'd suggest perhaps it's not favouring either end at this stage. Umpire Rick Kinnear picks out a free kick. It's going the way of Sutterby, the former Newtown, ex-Geelong reserves player, goes towards the centre of the field. Picking up the crumb, Smart. He's played well early. Now out to Renfrey, who's been a prime mover around the ground, and Captain Bennett forward. The half forward it goes. Mitten cleverly on. Baker, the big fella, with a surprising turn of speed. Lines up the goals. It's through. That's a goal to the Panthers.
Yes, what a surprise goal. David Baker, he picked it up like a rover. Ran with the ball, steadied and popped it through. I wouldn't say David Baker's been a prolific goal kicker in his career, but that was a real Kim Dillon suggests his first goal ever. I don't think he's that far removed from a goal, but top effort by David Baker. He's not out there to kick goals really, but that was good work by he. And South Adelaide now eke out a 22-point lead.
55 points to 33, and Turner just going off the ground, injured for South Adelaide. Young McCarthy onto the ground, number 22. The fist back, picked up by Baker. He's running hot at the moment after kicking that goal. Puts it up high. Underneath that was Burke trying to use his body. Couldn't control the football, and in fact has been awarded a free kick. In fact, that was Sutterby underneath there. Now it's Higgins with the football. Kicks out towards the wing. Players set themselves. Whitford, the destroyer from behind. Now this is Burke. Picks it up cleanly. The left foot kicks a wobbly one forward. The distance isn't bad. Cleverly stolen by Painter. He's a genius at times, Jack Painter. Centres the ball brilliantly. Gives his forwards the opportunity. Nuski couldn't hold it. Second chance. McGlashan puts it forward. And eventually it's rushed through for a point.
Unlucky Graham Nuski then. He had hold of that ball. Just couldn't bring it down to make the mark complete, and a chance for a goal went begging.
Nuski, who already has kicked 2 goals, both in the first term, looking dangerous at full forward for the Double Blues. He could be a find. Played all of his football in the reserves last season, and now Smart from half back for the Panthers. His kickers to the outer half-forward flank. Sitting underneath this one was Schmidt. He started the game at centre-half back, now lining up in the forward zone. In doing that attack on the ball, he's given away a free kick. Sutterby, the man with the ball. Oh, Sutterby, crucial error. Kicked into the man on the mark. Schmidt off the ground, and the ball will dribble across the line, or will it? No, the umpire's called play on. Cleverly done, Schmidt. He played to the whistle. Sitting back underneath this one, Page is the mark. He plays on quickly. Steckel, who already has 3 goals, handballs off. The running player, Battams, into the open goal, and Battams has his first.
Great unselfish play by full forward David Steckel. I predicted he'd kick 100 goals this season, Steckel. That's only 5 goals a game. It's not a big ask, but he's a man that can really find a goal when he wants to. On that occasion, could have kicked it himself, gave it away to the new boy, young Battams, Matthew Battams, who popped it through from his wing, coming down the ground. And this really is a supercharged South Adelaide side tonight. Kicking into this breeze, they are making Sturt look second rate.
Well, Michael Bennett, the captain for South, was quoted as saying that they'd dearly love to wear a side into the ground and really crush them. Well, they have a golden opportunity tonight. Baker didn't win the tab. Higgins takes the crumbs, puts his side forward. Whitford underneath it, couldn't take it. In fact, it was Smart. Now he's over the ball once more, and he's been rewarded with a free kick. Well, that's the value of front position. Look at the Panthers. They're ready to run. Place Whitford under a little bit of pressure. Consequently, the mark was taken by Alexander. Making hard work of it, the Blues, as they go forward. Smart once more sets himself, and that's a strong mark.
Just reflecting on the move by coach John Mood at half-time of putting Stephen Smith in the forward line. He's got Michael Whitford at full back to cover the strength of Nuski.
It has been a problem, Graham. You're quite right. Moves had to be made. Bickley with the ball at half forward, drives to the lead of Steckel. He's been a focal point all night, and the big fella's got another one. He feeds it off quickly. That's mark number 5. To Page it goes. He centres the ball. Mitten underneath this one, got the sit, couldn't control the mark. Coming up with the crumbs is Scotty Field. His game in the first half was superb. Kick number 10, and a juggled mark out there, just taken by Richter. Richter, the back pocket player, goes to the outer side. The leader's on from McGlash, and the youngster was involved in a heavy fight just before half-time. Trevina for the Panthers couldn't control the ball. Whitford goes to ground. Of course, Whitford, the Panthers' best and fairest player in 1989, already shaping up as a valuable player at centre-half back.
Umpire Steve Wayne with the football. He's officiating with Rick Kinnear this evening, and they're doing a pretty good job. Burke couldn't control it. Bickley crashes his way through, still held on to. Play on the call. Kavanagh couldn't take it. Winton with a quick handball. The Panthers go forward once more. Here's a chance for Steckel. McCarthy that time won that duel. Now he has an opportunity. Sutterby at the back of the pack there, and eventually we'll have a ball up by Rick Kinnear.
Very impressive South tonight. There's always somebody at the ball. From any loose kick downfield, a South player emerges and gives an honest contest.
We shouldn't be surprised at that, Graham. Their pre-season form, while they've only won 1 game, has been very good. They pushed Port Adelaide to 1 point last week. Their form against Norwood, they had the Redlegs beaten until 3/4 time, and of course they beat West Adelaide at Richmond. The double Blues out of defence, the ball right on the line. Oh, and shovelled across it was Stephen Alexander. He puts the ball to ground. John Reid, I think, would be quietly pleased with the performance of his players this evening.
Looking very pensive there. He's getting used to winning now, John Reid, I'd say.
He's only won 1 game this season, Graham. It's a bit early, but I think you'll see the Panthers winning a lot more on this form tonight, no doubt about that. Higgins, nephew of Kevin Higgins, the new coach, gets the ball forward, but again it's out of play.
I might rephrase that, David. He's getting used to his players winning the ball in a man-to-man contest, something that probably could not be agreed to over the last couple of years.
Couldn't doubt you there, Graham. No doubt about it. Reynolds in ruck, opposed to Baker. The ball comes to Burke. He tried to go to the back door, but what's this player? The star last season. He'll get even better this year. Bickley towards full forward. Steckel, the big fellow. Couldn't control it. Sutterby. I've been impressed with this fellow. Play on's the call. The free kick was on, but Rick Kinnear's allowed the advantage. Williams caught by McIntyre. McIntyre's game in the first half was stupendous. Winton cleverly done with strength. Gets it out. Bennett evades the tackle. Feeds off the handball. Winton in trouble. Tries to throw it out. Finally does so. Gets it out the back door to Burke. Also in trouble. Tries to feed it out. Scott Russell had the kick smothered. Watch the Panthers go. They're aggressive. Sutterby to the safety of the line. Battams carries it over, and a game will have a throw in.
Intelligent umpiring, and he could have paid 1 or 2 technical frees, umpire Rick Kinnear. He chose not to, and the game flowed on beautifully.
Throw in right forward pocket from the back of the pack was Burke with the tap. Sturt go forward through Russell and finds Painter. Painter plays on quickly back towards Burke. Burke's left foot kick. Graham manages to get good distance, but this man's playing very well, Smart. He's bulked up a little bit over the summer. Possesses a lot of talent. There's a good pass in towards Winton. Be looking for this man to fire across half forward. It's an awkward looking kick. Oh, and there's a big mark taken there by McIntyre. He applied a beautiful tackle not long ago. Kick number 7 coming up. Amazing what a little bit of confidence can do. They look a completely new outfit, South Adelaide. It's a magnificent kick, but it's punched over the line and through for a point. South move along to 9-8, Sturt 5-4.
And one of the reasons, Kim, they are looking good is having a centre half forward who can take a mark and a full forward that can take a mark in Peter McIntyre and, of course, David Steckel.
Yes, the South Adelaide big men up forward look awesome. Of course, they're still trying to attract Brian Winton, brother of Jeff Winton. Should they be able to get that big fellow? No,
they missed out on him.
He signed
tonight, David.
Thanks for that, Graham. The Oracle, always on the ball. Baker. The ball to ground. Higgins out to Russell. Kim Russell towards centre wing. Or McGlashan couldn't control the ball. Aerial ping pong as it finally comes out to Kappa, who in turn has Renfrey. Smart running into space is good play. The Panthers. There's good shepherding going behind play. Scott Field working hard at the base of the pack. Holds the ball in the area and enforces a bounce.
South Adelaide leading by 28 points, so it's a 38-point turnaround after the first term, and they've looked pretty sharp. They're prepared to run the ball. They have numbers at the fall of the ball, and that's been the difference so far. Sturt are finding it hard at the moment as the kick goes out wide. Page with an opportunity. He'll need support. Tries to paddle the ball forward. In there is Richter. He's tackled. Play on the call. The umpire's certainly letting it go now. The handball back to Scott Field. Inboard he goes towards Renfrey. Renfrey was run down. Winton punches the ball forward. The crowd appreciated that. They're lifting to this game as the tempo also lifts. McCarthy couldn't get the kick away. Gee, there's some desperate work out there, and yeah, this is similar to finals football, Graham, the way players are throwing themselves in.
What an awesome sight Jeff Winton is when he takes off after a player. Like, he'd worry her out of the ball, I think.
Been known to do that, the big fellow. He's an awesome sight on a football field. Baker bends one back around the corner. Page unable to control it. Finally, the ricochet comes forward from Schmidt. McCarty dispatches the handball. Now into space. Kavanagh gets it off. Richter, the runner from defence, drives towards centre half forward. The double blues are breaking down across that half forward line. And again, it's Smart who's playing a superb game across half back. Pick number 10. Keep your eye on this fellow. Towards the outer side. Oh, Schmidt was well up before acceptances. He's given away a free kick.
I tell you what, though, David, if he takes the mark, it's got to be allowed. You're allowed to use a player as a stepping stone if you're going for the ball.
Well, he had his eyes on the ball, no doubt about that. Play on's the call. The double blues forward. Johns taken the ground. Field butters up for the second occasion. Burke, how did he get through there? Did it with strength. Towards full forward he goes, but the easy chest mark is taken in defence by Reese. And Kim, we saw him in the forward line in the first half.
Yes, John Reid's made a few changes. He's now got Schmidt up forward. He looks to be playing a centre half forward perhaps, and Reese is now deep in defence, perhaps full back. As the ball goes forward once more, the spoil away comes to ground. Opportunity for Trevina. In turn, Bickley, the sweeping handball over the top. A chance again for the Panthers as they go towards goal. Oh, too slow. He hesitated. And my old coach Glenn Elliott used to say, he who hesitates is lost.
That's a pretty famous saying, Kim. It applies to football and to life.
No doubt about that. Johns shoveled out the handball to the back door. Richter's providing drive from defence. One of the few double blues players are on top. McGlashan with pace. Oh, he ran his full distance, no doubt about that, towards full forward. Nuski's in the van. Can he hold his ground, the big fellow? They've paced Reese on him into the open goal, and that's a goal, Higgins.
Long time between drinks for goals for Sturt. I can tell you that's their first goal since quarter time, and the coach's nephew, Higgins, has kicked that particular goal. What's his first name? Matthew Higgins. Yes, nice goal, and there's a repeat performance of that particular goal. A good contest by Nuski in the square. Set up the run for Higgins, who picked it up and popped it through. His first league goal, and Sturt's sixth.
The Blues trail by about 22 points, and that's the first goal they've kicked since the first quarter as Burke puts his side forward once more. Now this time the mark's been taken by Reese. Peter Reese kicked a goal in the second term. Now Page with the football. Battams, nice looking kick. Schmidt underneath it, 2 grabs, it's got to be a mark, and it's been paid. The crowd's not happy, but appeared to definitely come off his chest. He took it cleanly on the second grab. Sits it up nicely, Steckles the target. He's outnumbered there by about 4 blue defenders. And in the end, it's Russell who gets the handball out to McCarthy. In turn, Sutterby. Now they're running. Bauer. The handball is good. Look at this fella go. Oh, geez, quick. But Winter nearly got him. Clever play. He held onto the ball. McGowan, he chanced his arm and just paid off. In there is Marty Dillon. Couldn't take it. Free kick to John Painter. Painter puts it out wide and he finds Nuski. And he has been impressive, this man. He's worked hard over the summer. He's lost an enormous amount of weight. And it's not just his work he does from the square. He's prepared to lead. And full credit to the big chap. His kicking's been very accurate. It's not the longest kick. He's kicked 2. He's taken 6 marks. In fact, it's his 6th kick. 4 marks. And that didn't quite make it. Let's see who's crumbing the packs. McCarthy a chance there. So too Burke. And it appears that Burke's having a run on the ball now. Graham as well. He started off in defence, but he's been everywhere this term.
Yes, and the boy Roos is fullback. I thought it was Michael Whitford before, but it's Peter Roos gone to fullback to cover the enormous strength of Nuski.
They needed somebody who could, Graham, as the ball is shovelled across the line for a behind. The Double Blues, 6 goals 5. South Adelaide 9 goals 8. 16.5 minutes into the 3rd term. Reese. Shift into defence. Combat the bulk of Nuski and strength. But they really are falling down, the Double Blues, across centre-half forward. Leanett. Out the back door he goes. Bauer distributes the ball wide. Now this is Frank Renfrey, who drifts the ball short. And underneath this one, Kim Bartlett.
Yeah, I suggest it wasn't meant for Kim Bartlett, David.
Well, nobody would argue, perhaps. Bartlett, 45 out, directly in front. The Breeze will be drifting the ball away from the goals. It's exactly what happened on that occasion. And through for a behind, and that really is the area, Graham, where they're falling down across that centre-half forward area.
Yeah, they can't get really a regular win of the ball from there, and the South half back line has been resilient, especially Nigel Smart.
Sturt have pegged the leeway back to 20 points at the 17.5-minute mark as South go forward once more. The handball over towards Heath. Heath gets good distance with the kick, but underneath that is John Richter. Richter's been a little bit quiet. He's an impressive player, though. Kick number 6. Certainly has a go. Centres that ball. Renfrey from behind tried to spoil, but the mark was taken by Leanett. Bauer looking for a play on advantage there. But the ball will have to go back to Leanett. They need a couple of goals, and they need them quickly. They put it up high. Setting himself is McGlashan. Couldn't take it. Running through there is Higgins. Had the handball out looking for Field. He couldn't take it. Collision of players there. Now the handball from McGlashan. Back over the top. Looking for Bartlett. Bartlett a bit light on as far as support was concerned. Now Painter in there. So too Kapler. Higgins with a push in the back, and just persistence paying off for South Adelaide at this stage.
Interesting to see new numbers allocated to South's captain and vice-captain this year, namely Michael Bennett is carrying number 1 and David Kapler number 2.
Long-standing tradition restored for the Panthers as Heath breaks away from defence, goes towards half-forward. The target's McIntyre. He's taken all before him. The kick is a wide one, searching for Steckel. Into space it goes, and the big fellow's taken another good mark. Off it goes to Bennett, back to Steckel in the 1-2. The big fella chanced his pace. He drives towards goal. Oh, he's got it. He's had a big night. That's a great goal.
Wow, fancy the big fellow jarling that one, as they say in the classics. That was an unbelievable goal. He made his angle even more difficult by going to the boundary line. Here it is again. Hand pass to Steckel. He took it like a charging rhinoceros, and he finally kicked the ball and split the centre. I can't believe that. You really can't kick it from there, but David Steckel, he's a genius.
A 26-point advantage to South Adelaide after that brilliant goal by Steckel. It was an absolute gem. But Sturt go back into attack. Painter, one feels he has to get more involved in the game. This certainly hasn't been a problem for Smart as he puts it up high. It's a floating kick that eventually finds its way over the boundary line. As John Painter seems to have done most of his work up forward. This man's been playing at centre-half back the last 2 quarters. And well, he's a very good player, Nigel Smart. It was only time before he finds his way in league football on a more consistent basis. That's Battams, drives it in. The mark not taken there by Schmid. picked up by Russell. Russell with the left boot. And, oh, that's not accurate. So they're not enjoying the pressure, Sturt, at this stage. And South Adelaide have been quite relentless.
South are playing direct football. It shows on the scoreboard. The double blues are playing around the flanks. Sutterby couldn't control the ball. Kim Russell could. Feeds out the handball wide. Over the top of that, Higgins forward. Oh, it's sat nicely for Burke. He in turn has Scott Field running. Dispatches a kick forward out on the lead. And it's found its mark. Kim Bartlett. He plays on quickly. Richter drifting down from defence yet again. Goes forward. But McCarty falls into defence for the Panthers. Has taken a timely mark.
Big raps on young Peter McCarty this year in the early practice games or the early foundation cut games, David. Very strong, very gutsy back pocket player. We
saw a bit of him last season, Graham, and had reason to perhaps believe that he could develop into a good player. This bloke certainly is. It's his 9th possession towards full forward. Steckel again playing his 100th game for the club. Couldn't control that one. Sutterby playing game number 3. Chips forward. Johns plays on quickly on the left boot. Oh, there's 2 double blues players all by themselves. Scott Field and Leanett. Field's got a paddock. He'll need to get the kick away quickly. Kick number 12. It's just inside the line. The boundary umpire races away. Oh, he's indicated it was out on the full.
Well, David, that was a classic example of the umpire, the goal umpire being too far away to give a genuine opinion, and the boundary umpire was absolutely miles away, and Scott Field's not happy, and this is why. That ball was definitely, and it was an awful decision. But, gee, the umpires are only human. That ball moves pretty quickly up the ground. Field's back in there, though, to redeem himself. And there's a good mark taken by Nuski.
Well, I guess you can say that's justice, you know, Kim, because the ball was not out of bounds. There's no question about that. And as you say, umpires can't be in 2 spots at once. Nonetheless, I think if he doesn't know, he shouldn't play it out of bounds, because it definitely wasn't. And the ball has finished up in Nuski's hands anyhow, so justice was done.
Well, Graham, I think the boundary umpire looked for some help from the goal umpire, and I think he took a guess, but he was also too far away. And have a look at that. It's through the middle. There is someone upstairs after all.
Well, we're certainly seeing some good performances at both ends of the ground by full forwards. That's Graham Nuski's 3rd goal. And there it is, a strong mark. This man has come ahead in leaps and bounds this year from what I saw last year, even though he kicked a bundle of goals at reserves level. He really has made his, he's found a niche already in the Sturt team in the forward area, and 3 goals so far attests to that. While at the other end of the ground, we've got David Steckel with 4 top goals and 1 he gave away.
Well, we've had 1.5 minutes of time on, and it's the Panthers by 20 points. Sturt are by no means out of this game. It's, gee, South have been impressive. Sturt in there once more. The ball smothered off the boot. Winton with an opportunity. He's looking dangerous across half forward. It's not all happening at this stage for him, but he's certainly been where the action is. And it looks as though it'll only be a matter of time.
As I've said a couple of times, he worries people out of the ball, Kim, just by his physical presence.
He's not small, that's for sure. Heath wins the tap, puts it out towards McIntyre. He couldn't take it. Opportunity there for Bauer. He was pushed aside. Trevina at the bottom of the pack with Frank Burke. And we'll have a bounce once more by umpire Stephen Wayne. He's officiating tonight with Rick Kinnear. And they've been kept pretty honest out there due to the pace of this game and the ferocity. Another bounce. Only be seconds remaining.
Time, Kim, and South Adelaide 10-8-68 lead Sturt 7-6-48, a very handy 20-point lead to the Panthers.
Well, it sets the scene for a big final quarter, so we'll be back here shortly at Football Park.
And welcome back to Football Park at 3/4 time. The Panthers 10-8-68, good leaders by 20 points over the Double Blues 7-6-48, and they've looked a pretty good side tonight. South Adelaide, the main goal kicker Steckel, is he a good player? 4 from full forward, and for the Double Blues, Nuski also at full forward, kicking 3 goals. David Mackay, just looking at South Adelaide, their forward setup is magnificent. Let's talk about it. McIntyre at centre-half forward, he's a real star.
Well, he's taken all before him, KG. We saw him play a number of very good games last year in that position. In fact, he played at centre-half back a little bit, but I think John Reid is settling the forward setup this year. And Steckel at full forward, playing his 100th game for the club, really looks the goods. I had a look through what he's done in the last couple of years. He's kicked 50 and 55 goals, 2 of the last 3 years, but club officials are predicting he'll kick 100 goals this year, and I wouldn't doubt it the way he's going tonight. Really, he's going like a train. McIntyre and Steckler, a good two-pronged attack. They can either play at full forward, centre forward. They're going to be very dangerous for opposition teams.
Yeah, McIntyre, he really has impressed me, along with David Steckler. And the other feature of South Adelaide's game has been their tackling, and that's been highlighted by Winton. Gee whiz, doesn't he attack the body and the ball?
Well, Frank Renfrey found the going a little bit tough earlier. Jeff Witten's applied perhaps 3 or 4 of those types of tackles during the night. And that's one of the things that South Adelaide, I think 2 or 3 years ago, really didn't do well enough. And it's part of their game now. They're harassing their opponents, and they're looking good. Their form last week against Port Adelaide was very good. They went down by a point. Against Norwood, they looked very good. And, of course, they've beaten West Adelaide. So all the indicators are that South Adelaide really could be a team this year to be reckoned with.
And Nigel Smart on defence. Gee whiz, of course, he played a lot of games at centre wing last year. In defence tonight, looks superb.
Well, off that half-back flank, KG, Kim Dillon mentioned that he's beefed up a lot over the summer. I think I agree with that. That little bit of physical vigour that he now has brought to his game. He was always very, very quick, but he's standing his ground. He's taking some good overhead marks, and that's going to make him a very dangerous and very creative player. And if you have a look at South Adelaide's running players, they've got no problem in terms of pace around the ground.
And David, from Sturt's point of view, disappointing again tonight. They're breaking down up forward, particularly across half forward.
I think Bartlett to cross half forward really is the problem. They need to find a different player there. When they go direct and they go long to full forward, Nuski, I think, is a very good target. He's also going to be a dangerous forward during the year. They really need a counterfoil at centre half forward. Of course, they're ruining the fact that they've lost Lawrence Shackey to West Torrens. You know, if they had him today, what might they be?
Thanks, DB. That's David Mackay, of course, and the three-quarter time at South Adelaide, 10-8-68, leading Sturt 7-6-48. Let's now take you to your commentator, Kim Dillon.
Thanks very much, Ken and David. And just getting back to that centre half forward issue, Graham. Of course, they have O'Keefe at the moment, but the lad's out injured, and he certainly showed enormous promise in the 2 games prior to this.
That's right. That boy O'Keefe, Michael O'Keefe, I think it is, I'm not too sure, but he's 27 years of age, Kim. He's no spring chicken. He's come into league football at a late stage of development, but nonetheless, he can stand his ground and contest. And the greatest asset of a centre half forward is to bring the ball to the ground if he can't mark it. That's something O'Keefe was doing, and of course, Sturt lamented his unavailability for the last couple of weeks now.
Graham, the Blues trail by 20 points. It will be interesting to see what happens in this last 25 minutes or so here at Football Park. It's a crucial game. South Adelaide and Sturt still in with a chance to make the finals in the Foundation Cup. And at this stage, it is South Adelaide by 20 points after they trail by 10 points at quarter time. It will be Big Reynolds in the ruck opposed to David Baker. Umpire Rick Kinnear with the football. Baker's been pretty useful since coming onto the ground. Reynolds won that tap. Burke's definitely playing on the ball. He's in there. Patterson's also onto the ground for South. The ball goes out wide. Russell, he started on the interchange tonight. Winton in there, used his body well. The ball punched out forward, now picked up by Burke. Seems to enjoy the freedom of being on the ball. Puts it up.
But McGlashan took the odds to go for that, and one could argue that Nigel Smart had his hands on that ball. Nonetheless, the other boy came down with it, McGlashan.
Yeah, that's interesting with the advantage of high side, and that's a goal.
Well, there you are again, Nigel Smart going for that mark. And one would have thought he had a good claim on the ball. The umpire thought otherwise, and I couldn't argue the umpire wasn't close enough to give a decision there. He was right in the vanguard. And McGlashan came down with the ball, and the umpire paid the mark and the resulting goal.
The Blues fighting back 54 points to 68, and they're into attack once more. It's a long kick, setting himself. Notsky, oh, he should have taken it. Smart at the back of the pack. It's through for a point, and he's disappointed, Graham, and so he should be.
Yes, the boy that got the ball forward was Andrew Johns coming onto the ground, Kim, for Sturt, obviously playing in and around the packs.
Yes, Johns was on earlier. He's since had a spell, but not being hard on Nuski. I think he should have taken that, and Sturt would have been in with a huge charge. There's the mark, not quite taken by McGowan. Kicked off the ground. Now opportunity, bow back to McGowan. Gee, they've come out fighting in this final quarter, the Blues. And McGlashan couldn't take that one. And we'll have a throw in the right forward pocket. We've had nearly 2 minutes of the first term at Sturt, final term, and it's Sturt doing all the attacking.
So they need to, Kim. They really do want to put up a good showing tonight. The form last week, of course, 92-point thrashing by the Roosters. Nothing to rant and rave about. Well, maybe it is. Ball out of defence, goes high. O'Brien, he's been unsighted tonight for his new club. Former Port Adelaide player. Spent a great deal of time off the field. Still, I think they are expecting bigger things of him. Badams, just inside the line, chips forward. Oh, cleverly done, Page. They really have lifted their work rate. At centre field, there's a loose player, Renfrey, just skirting out wide, unsighted. There's a push in the back there, no doubt about that. There's a gain tackle right in the back of Darren Williams, and Williams will take the free. No, it's McCarthy.
Let's have a look at that once more. As we can see the push out just the bottom left of the screen there was definitely a free kick, and it was well picked up by the umpire. McGowan in there. No free kick, and gee, they had an opportunity, South, before, but young Page just couldn't see Dean Renfrey running down the centre of the ground. He had an enormous amount of space to work in, but it's always easier from up here. There's no question of that. The ball pushed out. Burke in there. No free kick, and Rick Kinnear will bounce once more.
What do they call it, Kim? Peripheral vision, isn't it? When they can see people at the side of their eye. That's what he had to do in that instance, and it could have been a setup for Renfrey coming down the ground.
Thanks for that, Graham. Scott Field goes forward. Renfrey, that's ranked tight. Couldn't take the ball. Now Smart. Getting the kick forward was McCarty wide. Scott Field, in fact, Bauer feeding off the handball. Burke inboard, running player. Johns drives towards the goal. Nuski one-hander, he nearly took it. Renfrey opposed to Smart, the two number 7s. Hard at it. Renfrey goes to ground. The ball comes out the back door. Cleverly done, Peter McCarty towards the boundary line, just inside the line. Bauer picks it up. There's a blue there. Nobody likes to be dumped after they've disposed of the ball. Marty Dillon just applied a solid tackle.
It's always a good theory too for a back pocket player to go for the boundary line if he's unsure of where his teammates are upfield. And McCarty kicked the ball at right angles to the game then and did well.
Reese takes front position. Nuski tried to claim the ball from behind. Couldn't quite control it. And umpire Rick Kinnear will bounce once more. Over in front of the scoreboard, which reads South 10-8, Sturt 8-7. So this game not over yet. Any stretch of the imagination as Painter puts the ball forward for his side. The back of the pack there, the mark was not taken by Smart. McGlashan in there, but that's good work by Whitford. It's superior strength then to hold out McGlashan and force that ball over the line.
And there's no question Sturt to lift their rating this quarter. They really are busting their gut to get to the ball first, and things are happening for them because of this.
No doubt, Nuski high over the top, but nobody roving the ruck. O'Brien applies a spoil on Bennett. Crumbs go to McGowan. Right to the square he goes. Two Panther players up. Finally, it's left to Kapler to take the crumbs away. He couldn't do so. Painter's in there for the double blues. Now O'Brien, the sharpshooter. Last towards goals will be offline. Oh, there's a great mark, Marty Dillon. He had players coming at him, and that really was good courage.
Tremendous test of courage, that, by Marty Dillon. He had to keep going, and he did. And full credit to the boy.
Yeah, and I don't think Bartlett really got too involved in that. He was too busy watching whether Marty Dillon was going to mark the ball instead of the flight of the ball himself. I think he could have been more involved in that passage of play.
Really, Kimmy could have cut him in half here. He went flat to the ball.
He only had to watch the ball. Dillon was doing the same as Painter puts the ball forward once more to the head of the square. It's a nice looking kick. Nuski flew at it, couldn't control it. The handball now comes out towards Reese. His handball is a good one out to Nigel Smart. Now let's see if the Panthers can set something up. They have some support and some run. He should be able to set up the loose man. It goes over the top to Trevina. The handball wasn't good. Oh, he had a loose player upfield, but that's good pressure by McGowan, who's tripped and should get a free kick. And that is a correct decision. Let's look at it once more.
There's a classic example of a lad just having a go. Young McGowan, he beat two players to win possession of that ball, and just by having a dip.
Yes, he did. There'd be very few quicker players in league football than him. There's a great mark taken by Bauer. He's taken the ground, no 50-metre penalty. The former Richmond player feeds it off to Johns. Johns towards full forward. Oh, it's a goal. It is.
Yes, Andrew Johns kicking his first goal for the game, and Sturt certainly have lifted their rating in this quarter. They were going down for the count during that third term with no hope for revival, it would appear, but out of the blue they found something, and that something is just good, honest contest, and it's making South have a hard look at this game now. They want it, they've got to earn it.
South only leading by 7 points now. Sturt have really popped the question, and the breeze appears to have picked up to that southern end. We've just had a report from down the ground. It's not overly strong, perhaps about 2 or 3 goals, but certainly giving some assistance to the Blues. The ball put up high by Bennett. Players set themselves. It's punched away. McIntyre a chance. Over the top was Renfrey. Intercepting there was Russell. The ball pushed out wide-eye. Trevina committed himself well. Now the handball back towards McIntyre, and that kick is very good to find Winton. He's off. shrugged the tackle too easily. Spears out a pass. There's a good mark taken in defence by Richter. The handball not good though. Here's a chance. Bickley crashes his way through into an open goal. He's hit the post.
I hate to feel sorry for young Richter then. He took a courageous mark in defence, then just chose to play on too quickly and was nabbed virtually, which set the ball up for a shot for goal by South Adelaide and hit the post.
The Panthers have an 8-point margin, but perhaps the tide is turning towards the double blues. Even luck going against the Panthers as Buckley hit the post. Bickley. The throw in. Deep at half forward. McIntyre opposed to Reynolds. Big Red from behind. Still got the tap to ground. Sotheby couldn't pick up the crumbs. Finally it's McGowan with pace. Watch him go. The racehorse to half forward. Oh, and there's a well-judged mark taken back there by Dillon. The new shorter hairstyle from last season. Gone are the flowing curly locks. Well spoiled from behind by Michael Bennett, and again we'll have a throw in.
Yes, the end result was there, though. There's Kevin Higgins watching on. The end result was that Michael Bennett could have marked that ball. He finished up punching it out of bounds, and he well could have taken the grab.
9 minutes into the final term, 69 South, Sturt 61. Renfrey handballs to the open space, is picked up by Painter. Ball to boot very quickly. There's a chance, setting himself lean it, couldn't take it, got underneath that one. In there working hard, Kapler puts it back to where it came from. The mark not taken. Trevino recovered well though. A little bit of luck there. The handball out to Winton. Let's see if they set this up. He opts towards the pocket. That ball just falling into the breeze a bit. Tatterson couldn't take it. In there is Richter. The handball is good. It appeared to be out to Alexander, but the mark's been taken by Bickley. Oh, has Smart. Good support. He's ran right up from defence. He's had a great game tonight, Nigel Smart. So he puts the ball out wide, and there's the mark taken by Schmidt.
Yes, Stephen Schmidt, who went forward of centre after half-time, and he's played plenty of football in the forward area, of course. He came to South Adelaide from Glenelg as a full forward, and did some good work in that self-same area, but since being transposed to a full-back position has been even better value.
Kick number 7. They lead by 8 points. They now lead by 14.
A much-needed goal by South Adelaide, their first for the quarter, and we think kicking with a slight bruise anyhow. At least it may have swung a little, and Stephen Smith popped out of the ground that time to accept that mark. A good strong mark, and even more importantly, a straight kick. And Stephen Smith is not foreign to kicking goals. He came to this club as a full forward, but in recent seasons has been playing in the back area.
Ten and a half minutes gone, final term. It's the Panthers by 14 points. Reynolds dispatches the ball forward. Mitten overran the ball. Well shepherded on that occasion. Still couldn't gather it. Over the top of it, O'Brien goes to ground. Coming through solidly, McCarty. Now Leonard, who's been moved to centre forward, endeavours to apply a smother on Mitten's kick. It's a grubber. Schmidt well down from full forward. He kicked the last goal. Bends it back towards the centre of the field from behind. Smart applies the spoil. Well done, son. It goes to Page. The crumbs towards Steckel at full forward. The big fella's underneath. It's spoiled well by Tony McCarthy. Now it's a foot race. Oh, he's come in well shepherded on that occasion. Got free. Still the ball rebounds. McGowan goes wide. The defence runs through Alexander towards centre half forward. Whitford, last season's best and fairest, holds a double blue attack at bay.
And we're seeing some stirring football in this quarter. Both sides have lifted to make it a really good contest.
In fairness, the whole game's been solid. That encounter was a good one. McIntyre stood his ground while Painter came at him and Johns.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. He had to stand his ground. It was 2-1. Had no option. And that was his 6th mark. Puts the ball in high. Setting himself from behind was Schmid. Tried to soccer it off the ground. Managed to gain about an extra 10 metres. Sotheby there. He handballs towards the boundary line. And both sides will have an opportunity to regroup. 12 minutes into this final term. 11-9 plays 9-7.
I've got a suspicion David Kapler's ruck roving this quarter also. For South Adelaide, of course, that is.
To do the ruck work in there. The ball punched out by McIntyre. The handball came from Alexander. Trying to work it forward over the top of that ball there is Harrison. The handball out towards Winton. He lines up the goals. Accuracy not there. South Adelaide move on to 11-10. Sturt 9-7.
Yes, a flying shot for goal, which only produced a point, and South Adelaide certainly just seemed to have an edge on Sturt at this point in time, but you never know. A couple of goals and Sturt are right back into it.
Surprisingly enough, given the work rate of Jeff Whitten. Oh, that's a great mark to Reynolds. I was about to say, surprisingly enough, considering his work rate, that was his first score for the evening. The ball goes forward, cleverly taken by Bow. Here's a runner. Elusive if given space, goes towards full forward. There's a pack of double Blues players. Nuski took the ball to ground, over the top of it, and has forced the ball up.
Just reflecting on Jeff Whitten, he's like a runaway steam train when he goes to the ball. It's very noticeable, but it's hard to imagine he hasn't had a shot for goal tonight until that particular moment. Some
Right,
15 seconds ago.
Painter comes out with the ball, and that's a beautifully executed goal.
Whenever Jack Painter gets the ball, danger signs for the opposition. John Painter, one of the most brilliant disposal players in league football. Here it is again. Betty Liner just got a fingertip to that. Enough for Jack Painter to chip in, make a steal and go boom, goal. Gee, Jack Painter does that so well. He makes it look easy, and I can assure you folks it isn't. Sturt's 10th goal for the evening, now only 9 points in arrears.
He's certainly valued for touches. 11-10, plays 10-7, 76-67. South under pressure once more, and it will be Reynolds opposed to McIntyre. McIntyre wins the tap rather convincingly. In there a chance for Bauer. Now over the top of that is Winton, and we'll have a bounce once more by Rick Kinnear. Yes, he's good value, Jeff Winton. Aggressive player. McIntyre. The ball goes out towards McGlashan. He was out forward before. Over the top of that is Alexander. The handball over towards Burke. Had a good third term. It's a long penetrating kick forward, but the mark's been taken in the fence there by Reese. Reese plays on towards the outer side. Should be able to drop in a short pass to Bickley. And in turn he has Bennett. Long handball to that player. So they're setting up a useful attack here as Bennett also drops in a short pass and finds Paul Page.
Paul Page on the outer wing. South Adelaide have options forward. He's elected to go wider and find Schmidt. He had McIntyre at centre forward free, but Schmidt was the target. He now drives it up. Stegel sitting behind this one. Oh, it's a mark! Oh, he's as strong as a bull.
He does that so well, David Steckel. Outpositioned his opponent, Tony McCarthy, and took a chest mark, would you believe, at the end result of that little effort. And David Steckler, an unerring kick for goal, believe me. Has kicked 4 so far, going for his 5th.
7 marks, kick number 7. 20 metres out, directly in front. The Panthers need this one to steady, and he's missed.
Wow. Every time you give a bloke a rap, they just don't quite go on with the job, do they? 1 point only to David Steckler, his first for the night, 4 goals, 1. As I said earlier, he also gave 1 goal away.
Andrew Johns has returned to the bunker for the Blues. Back onto the ground is Kim Russell. Spent most of the night on the interchange bench. Frank Burke in there, tried to grab it on the 3rd bite. Couldn't do so. A free kick for a push in the back. And that will go the way of Sutterby. Simon Sutterby. A handball out towards Richter. Goes across ground. Looking for McGowan. If he picks it up, he'll be off. Eventually gains control. The handball inboard towards Russell. Russell puts one up high with the left boot. Lena tries to make ground. First there was Whitford, and he emerged with the football. The kick isn't good, and it goes straight towards Sutterby. Sutterby with a wobbly screw punt. It gets plenty of distance, though. Now working his way through there was Dillon. Opportunity for Smart as he paddles the ball forward. Trying to grab that ball then was Higgins. Perhaps should have got right behind that one. And we'll have a bounce across the half-forward line, 16.5 minutes in.
John Reid stressing a point. There'll be a message going down shortly. Don't worry about this being a practice game. This is fair income.
And really, for credibility's sake, David, South must win this game.
Quite right, Graham. There's a fair deal of prestige to the winner of this game. Last year's bottom end of the ladder. Sturt finished bottom. Painter gets the ball out. The game will have a ball up. We've played 16.5, almost 17 minutes into the final term, and still the players are going very solidly. Very good fitness levels early. Mike Bickley, one of the fittest. Whitford dispatches the ball down. Painter with a quick kick forward. Oh, it's found. It's Mark 2. Michael O'Brien, he could well kick this. He has the breeze at his back. He's elected to go short, sitting underneath at McGowan. A little too short for that player. Burke applied the tackle. Now it's Scott Field over the top of the ball. He's bundled off a desperation in force and a gain of ball up.
Well, there's no question Michael O'Brien chose the wrong option. He's gone high to young McGowan, who really is not a high flyer. He's a man with grass-burning speed, but it wasn't really the way to kick the ball to him.
Whitford to do the ruck work. Superior body strength outmanoeuvred Leanett. Now the ball back towards Russell. He puts it on up high, one-on-one in the goal square. Underneath it, Nuski. And eventually that ball works its way over the line for a point. Sturt move on to 68 points, trailing South at 77.
Really is a tight contest, this game now. The next goal is terribly important to both sides.
Very clever move of John Reid to put Reese back onto Nuski. It's turned the game somewhat. Coming through, Mitten can't quite control the ball. Finally does, out to Tatterson. He evades the tackle. No, he doesn't. Richter, well played. Gets it out to Painter. Painter is lifted. The left foot kick is a searching one towards Nuski at full forward. The big fella's up. He got a hand to it. But drifting it across the line, Peter McCarthy.
Well, I violently suggest that was the wrong thing to do, Peter McCarthy. He could have turned on his left foot and come running towards the boundary. Why give the opposition a point? I'll never know. I dare say John Reid would agree with that one.
We'll soon find out. There's only 8 points the difference. The advantage to South. The ball put out wide looking for Smart. Sturt have the numbers. McGowan the handle over the top. This is O'Brien. He starts it out to the right and it stays in that direction. The margin now 7 points and we're approaching the 19-minute mark.
Yes, and Michael O'Brien's a guy that sometimes kicks those magic goals from the impossible position. On that occasion, though, it was never going to go through. All they do is get the minor score.
Double Blues will really need to find a position for O'Brien. McIntyre, one of the South Adelaide side's better players this evening. Having a run on the ball. Page spoiled the ball to ground. Oh, with pace, Bennett. Gee, he beat McGowan on that occasion. He copped a solid knock on that occasion from Alexander. The ball to ground. Harrison couldn't get clear. Ball rebounds out. Cleverly done now. Kavanagh. Winton. Strength. Bickley with pace. Well shepherded by Tatterson. Towards full forward kick number 15. Good chest mark taken by Richter. He handballs across now. The Double Blues need to move it out quickly from defence. Time running out. Richter wide. O'Brien controls the ball. Well done, son. Can he get the handball the way he does to Richter? Missed. Richter still couldn't crash through, and gee, a golden opportunity, Kim. They were streaming forward. They had runners everywhere, options up forward, but O'Brien's handball was wide.
Yeah, O'Brien caught in two minds there. After he'd actually shrugged the tackle and taken possession, he perhaps would have been better served to have kicked the ball. But he's in a new team out there, and he's just feeling his way at the moment as Sturt endeavour to go forward once more. But we'll have a bounce across the half-forward line.
Just looking at the quarter's effort, Kim, it's been 3 goals to Sturt to 1 to South. When at three-quarter time it would have appeared South were going to win comfortably.
We're 1 minute away from time on, and the margin is only 7 points in favour of the Panthers. So it's a real test of courage here for both sides as Russell starting to get into the action since coming back onto the ground. Nuski back there. He'll need support. Let's see how much. Oh, well, he manoeuvres the big chap. The handball went back, searching for Field. But South have the numbers, and through McCarthy, they should find some relief, perhaps. In there, still trying hard, and thankfully, I think as far as South are concerned, there'll be a bounce out there. About 45, 50 metres away from the Sturt goal face.
Talk about seeing a player get clean bowled. That was it, Kim.
You're quite right there, Graham. Often difficult the way that ball is shaped for it to sit correctly. McGlashan drives long. That's what the Double Blues need. They need a big mark here, and it's not forthcoming. Reese, first man there for South Adelaide. The former VFA player drives towards the grandstand boundary line. It was a fortuitous kick off the side of the boot, but I still think it'll find the boundary line, and it has.
I've got to admit I've been impressed by Reese tonight. Has done a fine job, particularly since going back to full back on Nuski.
Had 7 kicks and 5 marks. Certainly really has nullified Nuski, no doubt about that. Leanett from behind, got the ball down to McGowan. He handballs over the top. Kim Russell quickly, a hurried kick forward. South Adelaide are there, and a good mark taken by Dillon, and he's been a very serviceable player across half back. Kick number 6. So had a handball, steadying things down. 21.5 minutes gone, not much time left. Can the Double Blues get a couple of quick ones? No, they won't if Bennett has his way. Over the top he goes to Winton. The steam train keeps the ball in play. Can he shrug a tackle? Oh, solidly met. Bennett has crashed through there, and Alexander has felt a pretty solid league football buck.
Certainly was. That's what you call bone-crushing stuff. I like that. It was just good, honest, tough football, Kim.
Time running out here for the Blues. We've had 22 minutes. Reynolds in the ruck, down towards Tatterson. He couldn't control it. In there is Sutterby working hard. So too Big Red Reynolds. We'll have a bounce once more.
Right, Rod Tatterson's had a couple of chances to gain possession in this quarter, and it just hasn't happened for him.
Rick Kinnear with the football. Reynolds opposed to McIntyre. Reynolds won the tap, got it down towards Burke. Burke in turn to Russell. A small kick away out towards Painter. He couldn't control it. In there is Kapler punching the ball forward. Now an opportunity for Page. He was dispossessed. In fact, he was tackled illegally. And the free kick will go the way of Paul Page. And I don't think he'll be in any enormous hurry to dispose of this football.
Yes, well, illegally tackled. No question about the free kick. And this is a golden opportunity for South now to win this game.
Kick number 10 for Page. Goes for distance. Players up high. No one could control the football. In there is McCarthy. And we'll have a bounce once more.
Steckel at full forward, McIntyre at centre-half forward really have been the difference between these two sides. Double Blues have had Nuski up at full forward, but they really haven't had a centre-half forward tonight, as O'Brien had the ball stolen by Bickley. He chips short. No one home for the Panthers. It comes out the back of the pack. McCarthy for the Double Blues dives on top of it. He'll hold the ball in the air. We've had 23.5 minutes into the final term.
And it's been a sterling effort by the Sturt backline this particular quarter. They really have got a resolve in their game at the moment.
Richter's lifted, Burke has lifted, McCarthy's playing well. Harrison couldn't come through with the ball. Darren Williams has been an unobtrusive player this evening. Winton, cleverly done. Kapler forward, no one home, and a good Sturt mark taken in defence. That's Kavanagh. Oh, Leonard went through solid. The siren sound. South Adelaide have won by 7 points.
Yes, I think the side that deserved to win the game finally got away with it, but Sturt put up a great battle in the last quarter. They really showed some character. They made South earn the game. That's all one could have asked at three-quarter time. And I don't think that Sturt should be too concerned about tonight's result. They certainly bounced back from, well, an embarrassing result last Monday night.
So there you have it after the first game. South running out victors, 11 goals, 11-77 over a courageous Sturt side, 10-10-70. Stay with us on Nine's Wide World of Sports, because coming up, the Eagles versus the Bulldogs.